There's actually kind of a lot of random people walking around here. I'm starting to see a little bit of that. A lot of people that look like they're up to no good. I don't know, I'm judging, but that are just kind of wandering with backpacks, kind of don't look like they're walking to work. All right, greetings from Gallup, New Mexico. You're probably wondering, why are you in Gallup, New Mexico, Nick? Well, because this is a place that New Mexico says is super bad. And I'm just giving you guys what you want. Whenever I do videos on good stuff, nobody watches. And when I do videos on bad stuff, everybody clicks. So I'm just giving you what you need, everybody. I'll tell you what, though. We've been here for only about a day and a half. And, well, I'm not going to tell you what I think, because then you won't watch. It's just all up and down the street. Just old motels that used to be open. Now they're all shut down, gone. This entire street. And even here. And I don't know if I've ever seen so many just abandoned motels in one city. I hear they're tearing a lot of this down, but man. There's another abandoned motel. I do not know how one town had 50 motels in it, or why.
Is that the number, really?
I don't know.
50? I feel like
I counted at least 30, and 5 of them are open. Not good for a city, but great visuals for YouTube. So this is along Route 66 in Gallup. I can see why Gallup has such a bad reputation. If this is all you saw coming into town, you'd be like, OMG, what a dump. It was the first thing we saw when we got here. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, and Gallup, New Mexico is a place that I constantly hear people talking about. It's terrible there, Nick. It's poor, dangerous, and just tragic. Gallup's a small city. There's 20,000 people here. It was founded as a stop along the Pacific Railroad on its journey out west. The railroads also stopped here because coal mining was a big deal here for about 70 years, up until around the 1950s. There were 57 coal mines here. I bet you didn't know that. Back then, wages were good and housing was vast. The area was well known among Europeans. A lot of hardworking migrants came here to work the mines and on the railroads. A lot of their kin, they're still in town. I met some of them. And this is crazy. At one point, a long time ago, there were more millionaires per capita here than any other county in the country. But coal mining peaked, you know that. People left, the place started to go downhill in the 1960s. It's kind of like the West Virginia of New Mexico, right? It's still growing here, just a little bit. It's one of the few troubled cities that I visited that's not shrinking. Right, so we're here right along Route 66. Many of you have been on Route 66. Some of you have had sex on Route 66. Well, this is the Gallup version. It goes through town. They even mentioned Gallup in the song. 30% of the people here live in poverty. That's almost 3 times higher than the national average. I think it would be a lot higher than 30% if it wasn't so cheap to live here. Depending on what publication you read, you can find sources that say this is the most dangerous city in the country per capita. The most dangerous city in the most dangerous state. I think I read violent crime is like 3 times higher than the national average. One year, not too long ago, they counted 500 crimes in 1 year here for a city of 20,000 people. That's just absurd. Of course, the police department here is stretched thin. They're always handling drunk, intoxicated people, domestic violence, stabbings, drug use, fires. A lot of the kids, they go hungry. The only meal they get is what they get at school. And the domestic violence shelters, they're always full. It's just generational out here. I hear it over and over from people in New Mexico. I'm like, what is wrong with your state? And they're just, it's generational. People just don't care. The parents don't care. The kids don't care. I mean, it's like that pretty much all over the country, but it's in the culture here. And that is even though if you keep a good grade point average, you can go to university here. You can go to any school in New Mexico for free if you're a resident. A lot of people just don't do it. Any adult with a pink backpack on is up to no good. Probably. The biggest problem here, and the main reason I think Gallup has a bad reputation, is because of all the Native Americans in town who wander around on drugs or all boozed up. There's a lot of that here. About half the population in town's Native American, and almost everything that surrounds Gallup is Native American land too. The Navajo, the Zuni, the Hopi, all of those are very close by. So they call this the heart of Indian country. You're reminded of that all the time. Gallup's by far the biggest city out this way, so this is where the Native Americans come to buy their trucks and their food and their booze. They come to Gallup because they can't drink on the reservation. As such, Gallup is plagued by suicide, alcoholism, diabetes, incest, violence, homelessness, drug abuse. 2 out of 3 of the native kids that go to school here wind up dropping out. A while back, 2020 came here, and they called this Drunk Town USA. The TV crews showed all the drunk natives on the streets, and it caused a big fuss by the locals. Hey, that's mean, they said. But the non-natives, they struggle here as well. There's just not a lot of jobs up here, so a lot of people are on welfare. A lot of the kids are hungry, and a lot of them only get their meals from school. That guy just dropped his fentanyl straw.
I've been in other agencies. I was undersheriff for McKinley County, which is Gallup.
Okay.
And that's 5,000 square miles. So, and you got a population of 70,000 in that county, and it's 5,000 square miles. And you have the Navajo Reservation, which is adjacent to it, and you get the checkerboard areas. So you have that's the busiest county, and you'll find that out in the country per capita.
For police calls and crime,
yeah.
Gallup.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just you have a lot of alcohol abuse and things like that. So.
And the Native American population is part of that?
Sometimes, yeah. And the thing about it is you have, so it's the town of Gallup, you can look it up, it's also the busiest city per capita.
For property crime, violent crime, both?
All the above.
Gallup, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Booze and drugs?
A little bit
poverty?
Of everything. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Despite all the bad statistics and the obvious signs of substance abuse on many blocks, Gallup's really not a bad place. I think a lot of the people in this state that say Gallup's bad haven't been here for a long time, if at all. So I've been driving around for about an hour. We just got here a couple hours ago, and I've seen a few sketchy people, but this is certainly not terrible or anything. I mean, I'm sure the statistics say it is, but other than a few junkies I've seen walking around, I mean, it's pretty tame. Now, I usually find the bad side of town, so I'm gonna look for it, but this isn't tragic. I mean, a lot of this just looks like where I grew up. I don't know what the problem is. It's clean. I think they're doing a lot of work to try to make this better.
The American bar.
Yeah, this downtown's kind of cool. I like it.
It does have some character.
There's like not a scrap of paper on the ground. We have seen far worse looking places than Gallup, New Mexico. I kind of like Gallup. What the hell?
Their signs are super cool.
I know. What? I don't get it. Maybe it's a happy story. We had expected tragic and boarded up all over town. But outside of all the abandoned motels that I showed you, Gallup's just a regular looking place. People in town told me they've done a good job of making things look better here. Right now I'm going to go up and I'm going to show you the nice side of town. There's actually a pretty fair amount of kind of really nice neighborhoods. I was shocked. Like, look at this. This looks like a very nice neighborhood. I did not think Gallup would look like this. I mean, these houses are nice. All this stuff's like $350 to $500. I don't know what these people do. I don't know what they do for work. I don't know if they're retired. I don't know if they're independently wealthy ranchers. Not a lot here, so I don't know where these people make their dough. All right, so I just talked to a guy down the street, and he told me that this was a lot of coal jobs here, and they shut that down. I knew that. And I said, well, where does everybody get their money? Like, where do they work? And he said that a lot of this is Native American money. And he said that this part of town, Gallup, pretty much has, at one point, the most millionaires per capita because of all of the Native Americans that live here. So I think a lot of this might be tribal. There's a lot of money in Gallup. There's a lot of nice stuff here. I'm not saying you should move here, because you definitely shouldn't. There's nothing for you here. There's Mr. Gallup right there, just galloping away on top of that used car dealership. You don't see that too often in New Mexico. Closed.
Did you know Indians get drunk on mouthwash?
Okay, Mappy, that's not appropriate. And we call them Native Americans. And yes, they have a problem with alcohol. They've been through a lot, I suppose.
They should learn how to code. I bet if all the Native Americans went to work, we wouldn't have to import the third world anymore.
Mappy, you know nothing about this topic, and you literally know nothing about Native American culture like I do. You're being insensitive, and now I'm going to cancel you for the day.
But it's pretty much stayed the same, and I like it like that. Sometimes change is no change is good. So I've been here for so long, I feel like I know everyone. It doesn't take long to get to know 20 to 23,000 people in a town when you've lived here for 50 years. Mm-hmm. So I really like Gallup.
Last night we were talking about the reputation Gallup has. I think it's fine. I actually kind of like it here. What's up with that? Why do people you ask people about Gallup in New Mexico, and it's like they've never been here, they don't understand.
You know, I don't get that at all. There's a lot of haters out there, and I don't get it. I've lived here for a long time, and we really don't have a homeless problem. There is a drug problem, and there are people that come in from the surrounding reservations because they can't get anything where they're at. So they come to Gallup and they do it here. And they party on the streets, but they're not long-term homeless. They're here for a party in a week or two, and then they go back to their homes out on the reservations. Now there's maybe, I don't know, we have had some homeless people, but there's not a tent city that I know of. I know there are campsites like down in the dried out Perky where they hang out and congregate, but like I said, they're transients. They're not long-term.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's a big problem here with that.
Is that the only thing that you think?
Well, there's always that issue of like people drinking, but they come here to drink because they can't get it at home. So they have to come here to get it. And then they turn it into a party. So we've been put with a lot of rules and regulations and following all that stuff because there's that thing over Gallup about it being Drunktown, USA. And it's no more than any other city. So while you were on Route 66, you'd come into Gallup, you would have hit stoplights and stop signs while on Route 66. But that's why they designed I-40 through. So when they took it out, so diesel rigs would come right, all the traffic would come right through town. And now it doesn't anymore. They just bypass us on I-40.
So what was the bigger reason that Gallup peaked? The loss of the coal jobs or the highway that bypassed?
Two big reasons. The coal mines started to shut down and the railroad pulled out. So now the railroaders are based out of Belen or Winslow. And Gallup used to be one of their big stops.
So you've been here forever. Small town, as far away from the rest of New Mexico as you could possibly be here, almost. I mean, it's far from everybody else. You haven't left. Why do you stay here?
Some of the greatest people in the world I've ever met, and I've done my fair share of travel. I mean, I'm not a world traveler, but I've ever met. The best people in the world I've ever met are from right here, from Gallup, New Mexico. It's home. It's safe. If I'm ever in any trouble or I need help or anything, I can pick up my cell phone and scan through my phone numbers, and I'm going to find somebody to help me. And I don't care what time of day it is or any type of help I need. It's a community, and I'm comfortable here. So I have no desire to leave. Plus, I can't stand if you've got to drive more than 20 minutes to get to work.
Most of the stuff over here is under 100,000 on Zillow anyway. But I have seen way worse. Where I'm from is way worse than this. One morning I met with these fine gentlemen who bought me a cup of joe at El Sombrero in town. They've been here forever. They told me they're not going anywhere.
In some of my out-of-town travels and out-of-state travels, and even into foreign countries, people ask about Gallup, and if they see something that they think is bad, all you have to do is just check on Albuquerque. They're 100 times. They're 100 times our population, but the bad things over there are really bad. I don't think Gallup is such a bad place to live, raise kids. I raised 4 of them, and all but one is in the medical field.
I think Gallup's a nice place, but you know, the reputation of Gallup isn't as good as it used to be.
Well, years ago we had the reputation of everybody was drinking all the time, and I think they called it Drunk City at one time. And but now it's cleaned up, I'd say, and the only problem they got now is drugs and people that don't go home and they stay here and they call them homeless, and that's the difference right now, I think. But it's a pretty good place to live. I mean, it doesn't take long to go from one end of town to the other end of town, and
I guess basically it's similar to a lot of towns. You know, we have a lot of people that homeless, and stuff like that, but it's not, thank you. But it's not a bad town. I don't think it's a bad town.
Do you feel that, does it upset you that the reputation for this place is not good?
No, not really. Not really. I just, I don't know, I think the reputation is not bad. It's better than a hell of a lot of other towns.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
You're in your own little world out here in western New Mexico. What do you think about the USA, the rest of it?
Well, I think we've had some poor leadership nationwide. I'm not going to mention names. I was born a Democrat when I came out of my mother's womb, but the Democrats of that year, just like my dad, who was senator from McKinley County, they weren't this kind of thing that was always looking for money to do something that they didn't do. They respected each other up there. Republicans or Democrats, it didn't make a difference. They had that respect. I used to go up to the legislature just to listen to them. There was none of this baloney stuff. And I think it's deteriorated. And it's affecting the country.
Is that woman running from someone?
She's probably...
She's going to Taco Bell.
She's going to Taco... Why would you go to Taco Bell when you've got all the great Mexican food here?
I can't even believe they allow Taco Bell in this state.
Yeah, they should outlaw Taco Bell. All right, here's the El Rancho with the flashing lights. Yeah, El Rancho. If you ever have to stay in Gallup, New Mexico, you need to stay at El Rancho. The only place to stay in Gallup, and I mean the only place, is right here at Hotel El Rancho. The place is a trip. It's super famous. This hotel was closed down for a long time, just like the rest of them along Route 66. But then some wealthy people bought it and restored it back to its original charm. So I just learned that this hotel was built in 1937 by a Hollywood executive because they were filming so many westerns out here in the New Mexico area that they needed a place for all the celebrities to stay, all the actors and actresses, the famous ones that many of you used to watch because you're that old. So the place was built just for them, so they had a place to stay. Ronnie Reagan, John Wayne, Kirk Douglas, Jack Benny, back when movies were barely in color and every American had a home. And now I've stayed here too. I need my picture on the wall. So does Mappy. James Cagney's room. Alan Ladd, is that the guy from MASH? Lorraine Day. I don't know who that is. Some of these people are... Oh, Robert Mitchum, the guy from that cop show. And we're in the Jimmy Stewart room. Look at this place, so Western. Oh, and it has a cowboy hat too? I'm wearing that tonight. All right, we're going on a mission right now. We're gonna look at all the scary things this hotel has to offer.
Now the secret's out.
Secret's out. And the room opens. And it is a secret room. What? You wanna know how it does that? Because inside of this book, there's an activation switch.
All right, I'm starting.
That's how we do it up here at the El Rancho. That's pretty much it right here on the famous Route 66 in Gallup. And you can see it's pretty clean. There's not a lot going on. Not a lot of riffraff. It's pretty interesting. You could probably spend a little bit of time on it when you're in Gallup. And now we're going to move on to the next thing I'm talking about. More Indian jewelers. There's more Indian jewelers in this town.
The Indian jewelers might actually outnumber the dispensaries.
Yeah, oh God. There's like 50 places to get jewelry and only 5 to get weed.
In this town.
In this town. They call it the Indian jewelry capital of the world, everyone. The most overpriced, taking advantage of tourist jewelry you ever did see. Who has the money for this crap? Who comes to Gallup to buy some probably made by Indians, hopefully not fake turquoise? I don't even know what I'd even wear with that. Hey, that's mean.
Than you're supposed to.
San Bernardino had turquoise mines? There you go. It's a lot of cowboy stuff on this tree with a New Mexico twist. It's not just the jewelry. They have all the Native American weapons and furniture and art you could ever squeeze into your adobe. Can't see it. Fetishes? You see what it says over there?
I know, I saw that.
Fetishes? I don't know.
Zuni Fetishes Direct.
More fetishes?
Maybe there's some. It's probably.
What is with...
We need to look that up. I don't think it is. I think
Is that an Indian word?
Yes, I'm assuming.
Fetishes?
Well, it could still be your fetiche.
Fetishes. It's probably like a fancy Indian rug or something. What are fetishes?
The Zuni fetishes.
Oh, these? So like little rock?
Yes, these are on house music.
Oh, okay. That's fetishes. All right, I came downtown. It's about 9 o'clock. And it's just super nice down here. I mean, it's peaceful, not a lot's open, but it's just clean, quiet, comfortable. This does not feel like the most dangerous city to me at all. All the cars are at the bar. Tell you what, one of these days I need to figure out how to just capture the conversations I have in these places, because I had a really good one inside of there. Look at this, guys. Is that Indian hipster? And for dinner on night 2, the world famous Jerry's Mexican American Food Cafe. Heard great things. Let's see. My first stuffed sopapilla. And it was Jerry's world famous avocado and beef stuffed sopapilla covered in Christmas chile. Mmm. It was so good. That's the best sopapilla I've ever had. So on our final night in Gallup, we were walking by the movie theater in town and we saw there was some Marvel movie that was about to start. Now we don't normally watch those superhero movies, but we thought, there's really nobody else in town watching the movie? Guess we gotta support the local business. Plus our edibles had finally kicked in. So we thought, okay. Kim thinks she has the best seat. I don't know. We'll find out.
Once Ross discovered how useful I could be, he kept me here for 16 years, turning my mind to solving his problems.
No preferred seating. this is actually, for what they have, they do this right, I have to say. I'm actually glad we came here. I feel like,
you got all the way
yeah, I feel like we have a good story to tell, and I never would have known. And we get to share it with YouTube. Rarely have I been so surprised when I actually showed up to a place thinking I was gonna see or experience something in a certain way. I mean, we all have preconceived notions of what we think a place is gonna be like when we get there. I have traveled quite a bit, and I do my research, and I try to determine what I think a place is gonna be, and I'm sometimes a little bit surprised. I am completely thrown off by Gallup, New Mexico. Now, I didn't think this was going to be a puff piece, but Gallup is just kind of an average place. What else can I say? I mean, I get it. I can see why New Mexico people pile on. It has a really bad reputation. There's a lot of people here that are poor, and the crime is high. But I've been a way worse. I'm glad I came to Gallup. It offered me hope and inspiration and all the other things that go with making a video like this. All right, George, give it to me.
So, I've heard people say that Gallup is a gravel pit. Well, I've been in this gravel pit for a long time, and I'm going to tell you, in this gravel pit, I have found some of the finest, polished gems you're ever going to find, meaning friends. That's why I stay. I have no reason to leave here. I've got quite a collection of gems, so I'm staying.
Yay! Okay, so I did not know it at the time, but I just did some digging and read and realized that this hotel's pretty haunted. There's been all kinds of reports of strange things that are happening, and this is one of the rooms, the John Wayne room. I was just on my way to find it. They say that all kinds of weird stuff happens in there. I'm glad I'm not in there. I'm in the Jimmy Stewart room on the second floor. Oh, there's the bridal suite. Okay, so this is the other super haunted room. People say all kinds of weird stuff happens in there. Clothes get taken out of the suitcase and held up like someone's trying on your clothes. They say there's a woman that haunts that room. Well, I'm not in that room. I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so we saw the secret bookcase up there. Now we're gonna go look at the scary bunkhouse. Alright, so we're outside the 49er Lounge, outside of the hotel bar. And this is the bunkhouse that a lot of bad stuff happens in. Like, people have lived here and just stuff moves and they see weird stuff. I think there was a murder back here. I'm not exactly sure. You could read up on it. El Rancho Hotel hauntings, and apparently there's a lot of spooky stuff that happens in this part of the building in the back. So like there's our room up there, and I don't think anybody stays back here. I think they use it for storage and other stuff. But you guys like haunted stuff, so here you go. There's what it looks like in there. Who says I don't come through for YouTube? Huh? This is like the third haunted house in a row that we've gone to and stayed at. New Mexico, I'm telling you what, it has a lot of creepy, old history, haunted witches, aliens, Native American, Indian spirits. All right, let's go inside and look at the secret underground tunnel that's haunted. All right, and this is the secret, extra super scary hallway. At the end of this, there's a room, well, a big storage area that goes into like some underground tunnel. This is where they say they hear all kinds of laughing, screaming. The people at the front desk say they hear a lot going on. It's probably going to be locked and I'm going to be disappointed. Oh God, it's not locked. Okay. Okay. I thought that was going to be locked. This, in this room, or maybe it's, I don't know where it is. This is probably locked. I'm sure this is locked. Okay, so I think down there is extra scary stuff. There's like a tunnel that goes under here that used to be prostitution and gambling underneath the hotel. And that's the door that leads to it. And down there is super scary stuff that I hope I never have to see in my life. This is just the on deck circle for that super scary stuff. That's it. Well, hey, Nick Johnson fans. So YouTube's pushing this whole membership thing now, and I think it's great. So I set one up for this channel. If you want to be a member on this channel, you can only do it on your computer right now. They make it hard for some reason. So go and hit join right there, and you can support the channel and join various membership tiers. I'm excited about it because I'm going to post all sort of behind the scenes content, extra interviews, fun mappy stuff, bonus songs, and more. Just some extra stuff that doesn't make it onto the main channel. So think about becoming a member. Huh, everyone?
You should join. I did.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house, too. Email me and I'll work with you. I'm not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home, too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. And if you want to buy some Mappy gear, click the store link on my homepage. From there, you can check out the latest merch. There's hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, and shirts. Show off how much you love Mappy and support the channel. And I'm on Cameo too. If you want me to send you or somebody you know a personalized video message, go to Cameo and search Nick Johnson YouTube. It's fun.
Hey YouTube world, I'm Sage, Nick's manager. You've enjoyed a Corner House Entertainment production, so watch another one.
Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.